Ronaldo Nazario, the original. In 1999, Ronaldo was 22 years old and was already being called the greatest player ever seen. Not potentially. Actually. Inter Milan. Brazil. The man was unstoppable. Then a patella tendon injury, then another one. 2 years of his absolute peak. Gone. When he came back for the 2002 World Cup, he was a different Ronaldo. Still brilliant, but not that Ronaldo. If he stays healthy from 1999 to 2002, we are likely looking at 3 consecutive Ballon d'Or wins, a transformed Inter Milan project, and a career so dominant, the conversation about the greatest of all time might have been settled decades ago. Marco van Basten, the technician. Marco van Basten won 3 Ballon d'Ors. He scored one of the greatest goals in football history at Euro 88. By 28 years old, he was done. Completely. A severe ankle injury left him with virtually no cartilage. He tried to come back for 4 years. 4 years of surgeries, hope and silence. He retired at 28. The prime years, 29, 30, 31, never happened. Van Basten at 30 would have still been the best striker in Europe. No discussion. 5 Ballon d'Ors is a conservative estimate, and AC Milan's dynasty, it likely continues well into the mid-90s with him leading it. The pattern here isn't just sad, it's systematic. The years between 22 and 29 are when footballers produce their most explosive, their most electric, their most irreplaceable football. When injury takes those years, it doesn't just rob the player. It robs football of chapters that were never written. Michael Owen, the speed. In 2001, Michael Owen won the Ballon d'Or. He was 21 years old, faster than anyone on the pitch, and already a legend at Liverpool. What happened next is one of football's great tragedies. A series of hamstring injuries didn't end his career immediately. They slowly took away the one thing that made him special: his pace. By 26, Owen was a different player. Not worse technically, just slower. And for him, that was everything. A fully healthy Owen through 2006 potentially changes England's World Cup campaign entirely. And at Liverpool, this was a player who could have rivaled Shearer's Premier League record. Instead, we got fragments of greatness. Gareth Bale, the wasted prime. Gareth Bale between 2012 and 2016 was genuinely the best player on the planet for stretches of time. Not Messi or Ronaldo. Bale. The goals he scored at that time are some of the most extraordinary in football history. A combination of recurring calf and ankle problems, combined with Real Madrid's political environment, destroyed what should have been a sustained dynasty. Between 2017 and 2022, 5 years, Bale played a combined total of fewer than 100 club matches. A healthy Bale through his late 20s changes Real Madrid's UCL dominance from a Ronaldo story to a shared dynasty. And for Wales, imagine this version of Bale leading them in 2014, 2018. The World Cup dream comes a decade earlier. What makes these stories different from just bad luck is context. These weren't random players. These were players who were already rewriting the record books when the injuries happened. The loss is exponential, not linear. Owen Hargreaves. The forgotten one. Most casual fans don't know Owen Hargreaves. That's exactly the point. He was man of the match in the 2008 Champions League final. Then tendinitis in both knees took 5 years of his career. He was 27. He should have been entering his prime. He was man of the match in the 2008 Champions League final. Then tendinitis in both knees took 5 years of his career. He was 27. He should have been entering his prime. Hargreaves, healthy from 2008 to 2013, gives Fergie's a midfield anchor he was always missing in big European nights. That United team, with a fit Hargreaves? The 2-year UCL drought doesn't happen. Kaká, the last Classic 10. In 2007, Kaká won the Ballon d'Or in the same era as Messi and Ronaldo. Let that sink in. He was 25, playing for AC Milan, and was so dominant that season that the debate wasn't even close. Then Real Madrid paid 65 million euros for him, and then silence. Knee problems began almost immediately after his move to Madrid. In a squad full of egos and political chaos, an injured Kaká had no protection. He went from Ballon d'Or winner to squad player in under 2 years. He was 27. A healthy Kaká through 2012 doesn't just change his own legacy, It keeps the classic number 10 archetype alive at the highest level for half a decade longer. Instead, Messi and Ronaldo's era began on the back of his injury. Football lost its bridge. Abedi Pelé, the Africa that never was. Abedi Pelé is arguably the greatest African footballer of all time. He won the Champions League with Marseille in 1993, and his career arc, cut short by injuries and circumstance, represents the biggest what-if in the history of African football. A fully healthy peak Abedi Pelé dominating European football through 1997 or 1998 doesn't just change one career. It changes the trajectory of African football's global reputation by a decade. One player, that kind of impact. It changes the trajectory of African football's global reputation by a decade. One player, that kind of impact. 7 legends, 7 alternate timelines, 7 versions of football history that we were robbed of. The game we watched was shaped as much by what didn't happen as by what did. And if any of these stories hit different for you, drop their name in the comments. The debate is always open.